This is the camera.
Right, but I mean, like, what? Like, if...
You can look at me.
No, okay. Okay.
You-
Okay.
You
That's
just,
fine.
whatever's natural is fine. Hi everyone, it's Jamie at Candidly Chaotic. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before, and if you've never been here, I talk about homeschool things, mom life, and family adventures. Today is different because I have my husband here with me. This is Matt, and he is going to answer some questions from the homeschooling, well, from a dad who, how do I say that? You don't homeschool you don't.
Right. Yeah. So am I a homeschool dad, or am I just a dad in your homeschool mom? Is
Yeah,
that how that
one of
works?
those.
Yeah,
I don't know.
couple
So anyways, the perspective of a dad in a family that homeschools. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll just get going.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, talk loud enough.
Yes, of course. All right.
That wasn't loud enough. Okay, so first question is, did you want to homeschool at the beginning?
No, not at all. I was pretty against it. Primary reasons for that would have been, I guess I had a fear of I guess probably the same common misconceptions that most people have as far as not wanting to have children struggle with social anxiety. Yeah, and then also just kind of with this idea that it takes 4 years of hard education to be able to instruct students, most public schools, so then, what would make a common person, I guess, able to do that job, because obviously it takes quite a bit of training, at least it would seem to. So those were kind of my two primary things against it. And then also just balanced with, I just want the absolute best education I can get for my kids, whatever that is. So.
Yeah. Okay. And what changed your mind?
Well, the initial change of mind came from a lot of persistence on behalf of Jamie, as well as and not just like annoying,
Not only
annoying, a fair dose of that, but primarily citing like articles and stuff and data that kind of demonstrated that most of my concerns weren't really an issue, or at least weren't like a major issue. I guess I can't remember the data exactly anymore, but I would say for most of them you presented to me, I was like, oh yeah, I'm completely misaligned here as far as what my biases are. And yeah, and so I'm an engineer by training, and so that was one thing that I guess helped me. I'm very strict of logical mind, or tried to be, and so it was big time the facts,
he likes data.
The data.
And that, I mean, that's a good point. There is, if you research, there is not just like opinion pieces, but real, trustworthy data. If you really research about homeschool, that it really can be good. It's not the only way to educate your children, and it's not necessarily the best way depending on your situation, but it can be the best way for your kid, and they can thrive and get really good education.
Yeah.
The data supports it.
Yeah.
And colleges actually like to see homeschool kids because of their well-rounded. They generally bring a transcript that is very well-rounded, and colleges like that. So interesting.
You should link to studies if you could do that. Can you do it?
I can look those up again. Thanks for giving
Oh,
me more to do.
Help them out.
How long did it take to convince you?
Oh, quite some time. It was probably a year or so of what we call robust conversations. So yeah, just most of that's probably me trying to overcome my own biases. And so I think just kind of the tenacity, and then, there was a lot of hunting, I guess, for data in that time too, but Jamie really had it on her heart that this was the thing that would be right for our family, and I was the skeptic.
So you already talked about your like pre-existing misconceptions, which were, did you mention? So this is the second time we've done the beginning of this video, because we tried to do it when our boys were awake and you couldn't hear us very well. So did you talk about the social aspect in your talking about this time around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was remembering that from just now or from earlier. So your misconceptions were the social aspect, and would it be like the best education that we could be giving them?
Because that was a big thing. It was like, I don't want, if there's an option for the best education, I think that's the one that we want to pursue. Oh, there's a golden retriever in the mix. What was
So talking about pre-misconceptions, we kind of like reiterated them. So what do you think now? Do you think that those, like, would you agree that they were misconceptions, or, you know what I mean? Now that we've been doing it, basically.
So I think so far, like a couple observations, I guess, are with our children, the social issue really hasn't been a problem at all. And this was a point, I don't know if you've made it all on the show here, but is that what it is?
That makes me feel so fancy. I don't think so.
I don't really know. I didn't know what to call it. More dogs in the mix.
Okay, we're back from the dogs. So say whatever you want to say, because I may have talked about some things, but like this is supposed to be from your point of view anyways. So.
Yeah, fair point. So I guess like in conversation, you and I had talked a couple times about how some people probably just like because of different personality types struggle with social interaction more than others, and some don't, right? So case in point would be case in point would be her.
But...
So Jamie was very shy in school, and kind of really struggled with that, and does a good job, today, but I think in your own words, it's still like you're still overcoming it with most social interactions, right?
Yeah, it's not it is not exactly natural for me to not be socially awkward, and so I have to be really cognizant when I'm having social interactions, and to try, for one thing, not to feel like super anxious about it, and also just to be not extremely awkward. So annoying.
Paul.
So I think that it's just my personality, and I'm an introvert, and just many different things just kind of lends itself to that. And I am a fully functioning person in society, and my like career path is with a lot of people, because I'm a nurse and I work just fine in that. But that doesn't mean that I'm not like left to my own devices, just like innately a socially awkward person, or I do struggle with social situations.
Yeah.
And I was in public school my whole entire life.
Yeah. And so I guess like that's a good kind of case study of that.
And we have friends who were homeschooled their whole life and are just social butterflies and can handle any social situation or with extreme grace, like way better than I am. And I think that that's, anyways, it's supposed to be from your perspective.
It's your show, right? So
it's my show.
So I agree. I agree with all those points. And also like, it's not like we don't interact socially, right, with other people. We're, like, our version of homeschool is not locking ourselves in our home and, I guess just not interacting with other people, right?
Our kids would go nuts.
Yeah,
our kids they enjoy being with other people, which is good.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's probably all I've got on that.
And as far as the education part?
Oh, yeah. So, like, so that thought, I guess, that I had with that was basically that, it's a big priority for me to have the best education that we can for our children, whatever that may be. And so I guess that would be part of the reason I'm open to homeschooling as well, is because it seemed to present itself as that option, especially after a couple months or a year. I don't know how long we've been into this. So long enough.
Long time.
Long time,
Feels like.
yeah. It feels like long. I don't know exactly how long it's been. It's been,
Well, like,
who knows, right?
yeah.
But however long, I don't know. Yeah, just the amount of progress that the children have made, that's been very impressive. So I think like that alone kind of speaks a little bit to it.
So kind of like offshooting from that question, I think for me personally, part of that journey of like the best education possible, I mean, I went to college and I'm a nurse, and that's really important to me to have the capability to pick whatever avenue of our kids want, because
Yeah.
it's might not be college, and I think we're both okay with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But to have the groundwork to do that is very important. But I think for me, what I have learned is, or I'm coming to see is the best education possible necessarily the most academic? Is that something that you think you have kind of changed, or is that just me?
No, I'm pretty, yeah, the same on that. I think I guess I put a high value on academics. Like that's obviously not the only valuable experience you have in life. Like I guess out in the professional world, you don't, if you're out picking someone for a position to fill, you might not pick the most highly educated person you can if there's someone that's in there that really has some of the other aspects that you're looking for. If it's a job with high person-to-person interaction, how they act socially is very important to you. Or just if you need them, or if you're looking for a position that changes all the time, you need someone highly adaptable. So I think like there's other traits besides academics that are important, but it is, so it's not the only thing that matters, no, but I would put a high emphasis on it, because that's part of being like well-rounded, in my opinion, is being able to know enough.
Well, but I think what I mean is sometimes knowing things doesn't come from like academics. It comes from experiences that they get to have, because we get to go more places or do more things because they're not in public school. We have freedom. It comes from experiences that they get to have, like, as they get older. My hope is if experiences come up and they get to serve other people in certain capacities, we wouldn't not do schoolwork, but it would be like, just like rounding out their experience. And then for me too, like being able to teach them like a biblical foundation with it all, and tie it all together while we're doing it is fun. I think that's what I meant. But it's fine.
No,
I don't want to like get out too far off on a rabbit trail.
No, well, can I just go a little bit
Sure.
further on the rabbit trail, and then we'll take it back?
Sure.
So I think like what you're saying is like obviously very valuable things for like a functional citizen. You want, experiences help create a well-rounded person. So I think, hopefully we can do all of that as well as maintain high marks in academics. And
So we
that would
don't
be awesome.
agree on this part, I don't think, and that's okay.
But we're not like grossly misaligned either. I think we're just slightly.
No, yeah. Well,
But-
I'll do a video on that sometime about academics not being the most important part, or necessarily the only part. It's important,
I'm kidding.
but I've come to find that I don't think that it. Anyways, doesn't matter. Different topic. Moving on. What is are you all in now?
No. So there's very few things that I'm all in on. So I'm all in on you, but like.
I asked him that earlier.
Yeah, I was like, couldn't think of a good example. So, currently homeschooling is presenting itself as one of the best options for our children and
And for our family.
for our family, yeah. And so situations change, time can change, life, all sorts of things can change. And so I guess I'm unwilling to be like all in on anything, because I think I hold the ability to adapt highly. And so like currently it's the best thing for our family. If it went grossly wrong, well then it probably wouldn't be the best thing for our family, and that would be pretty obvious,
Maybe.
hopefully obvious, because then it would make it easy. But yeah.
But some kids, like we talked about earlier, some kids they just don't do well in school, period. And
Yeah.
so our kids have never been in public school, so that would be hard to be obvious, but I see what you're saying.
Well, like,
Anyways.
if homeschooling was just like you fighting with the children for 8 hours straight, 5 days a week.
Oh, we know that's
When it happens,
it happens.
right? Like,
you go through seasons.
Yeah.
He's obviously not in the trenches of this. So this video is getting long because we are winded, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know, or long-winded. But I think there's good stuff here. So we're gonna make this a part. Well, this would be a part 1, and we're gonna do a part 2. So I will post that later. So stay tuned for that. But for today, if you have any comments to our comments, let us know. We'd like to hear from you. And if you have any other questions, just let me know in the comments. See ya!